Hello world, Dano here, stacking paper as always, and today we're reviewing the second Corum book, The Queen of the Swords. Now, I thought it was pretty good. I think it's like a strong 6, low 7, you know? However, I think I know my limits with this sword and sorcery thing now. It's just, it is what it is. Every Eternal Champion novel is pretty much the exact same story, right? You kind of have to accept that going into it. You're really not going to experience anything like new or like groundbreaking. I guess kind of you are in the character work side, particularly like with stuff like Elric, but every story is pretty much the same thing. You got to have an impetus to go on an adventure. You go on that adventure, you fight some monsters, you meet some people that help you along the way. And then you have a final confrontation with the big bad, and then that's it. And this book, it's like beat for beat, pretty much exactly the same thing as Knight of the Swords, except without the cool, like origin story. Like I will say, like Corum getting maimed and that whole section of the story is really good, and that's what this doesn't have, obviously, because it's already happened. What we do get instead is we get a little more into the powers of Corum himself and his role as the champion, because he gets his eternal companion in this book. He very literally just washes up on the shore of his castle and essentially tells Corum, I've traveled with you, but in your other incarnations, but I can't tell you that much about it. We also get the return of this like cat, this animal companion, this like cat creature with bat wings. Maybe not bat wings, but just wings. It's actually in the Fortress of the Pearl, the Elric book, and it's the animal companion of another companion that Elric runs into. So I guess this animal is also kind of like a through line between the different companions of the champion, which is interesting. That's a nice little tidbit. Essentially, though, my big issue with this, I guess, it's the beginning and the ending, really. Weirdly enough, the middle is like the better part, which is usually the opposite. But it's the impetus for why he has to go after the Queen of Swords. It just doesn't really make that much sense. Like it does, but it just seems very convenient. Essentially, so he's defeated Ariok, the Knight of Swords. The Queen of Swords obviously wants to fuck him up and kill him, but she can't because she rules her own 5 planes. So now that there's a Lord of Law in the 5 planes that Corum is in, she can't really enter it. Well, she can enter it, but she'll be way weaker. That's the power scaling behind it. So the story has to create a reason for Elric to go there. Or not Elric, sorry. Fuck, I'm mixing them up now. Corum. And the story reason is, so the companion comes to Elric. He has this little cat creature. They realize that the Mabden are actually like, what's the word? They're consolidating their power, and they're gonna attack the castle. Not just the castle, but all the other Mabden as well as Corum. And they learn this because they send the cat to go do some recon, and then it comes back and tells them that. So they know that a massive army is coming, and they have no allies, right? Even though they've defeated Ariok, they don't have anyone on their side. So Arkin, the new Lord of Law, essentially tells Corum, hey, you actually can find allies, but in the planes that the Queen of Swords rules. Jombarg, it starts with a fucking X, it's a weird name. So that's the reason. He has to go to the planes to get allies to fight regular humans in his realm, but it's just because there's so many of them that even though they're dumb, it doesn't matter. Numbers are numbers. So that's his reasoning for having to go there, which is like, whatever. I guess it is what it is. So he goes to, again, I have to cut myself off now. So Jomberg rules those 5 planes. Like, it's super chaotic. It's even more chaotic than Corum's planes. Yet somehow there's this one city that it has still been holding out against her this whole time. I don't know, a little confusing. It's not Tanalorn either. It's its own thing. So Corum has to go there. on the way there, they fight some monsters, and then we kind of learn like more about how the limitations, I guess, of the Hand of Kwll. Essentially, he's like a nerfed version of Sung Jin-woo from Solo Leveling, so he can resurrect the people that he kills, but not just people, but like creatures. But I guess the way it works is they're on a rotation, so the Hand of Kwll accesses like this netherworld that is essentially a limbo. So when Corum kills people, they get sent there, and they can't leave. They're trapped there in this state of undeath, right? They can't die either. And when Corum summons them, they go and kill other people, and those other people that they kill take their place, and then they can pass along. So depending on who was last killed, that's the only thing he can resurrect. So when they go back to this, not back, when they go to Jomberg's plains, they encounter these crows that are attacking them. Corum uses his power to summon people to kill the crows, but then realizes the next time that he has to use the power that the only thing he can now summon are these crows, which are like, yeah, they're annoying, but like they're not that powerful. Although everyone he summons are undead though, so they can just, you can cut off all their arms and legs or whatever, they'll still just shamble on towards you. There's actually some like kind of funny like body horror-ish scenes of like the beings that he summons and like how they'll do anything to attack even if they don't have like arms and legs. It's kind of funny. But this fucking like dragon, for lack of a better word, it's not a dragon, it's more of like a sky serpent, sky shark, starts attacking them, and Corum realizes, oh shit, the only thing I have are these fucking crows. They're kind of useless, but it's better than nothing. So he summons the crows to attack it. It actually chases him off to the bottom of like this pit that they have to go down. But he doesn't think the crows are actually going to kill it. He thinks like it's just a distraction. They got lucky. They go to the bottom of this pit. They encounter the Chaos Horde. Awesome fucking name. Which are basically Jomberg's, is it Jombarg? Whatever. The queen. I'm just going to call her a queen. This is like her personal like fucking army. And they pretty easily make quick work of Corum and his pals, and they're captured and they're going to be taken to Jomberg. And this guy makes an offhanded comment that, oh, she's going to be so pissed that you killed like her pet, which is like this shark thing. And Corum goes, oh, word? Like that thing died? Immediately frees himself and then resummons that shark being to just attack the Chaos Horde and just completely wipes them out. And then you do get like this first encounter with the Queen of Swords herself, and this is another staple of the sword and sorcery genre that I really fucking hate. So she materializes. She sends this other army after them, this creature army, and according to the companion, they're pretty much fucked. So he basically tells her that, hey, do you know who you're trying to kill? This is the Eternal Champion. Once she hears that, she goes, oh, okay, in that case, I'm going to basically create like a more evil, worse way to kill you. And it's like, it's a heavy eye roll because it's like they were totally fucked. The only reason they're not now is because the bad guy wants to be even more bad, which actually just gives the good guy a chance. It's like, it's such a fucking time-worn trope, and I can't stand it, but it is what the fuck it is. They find the city, they get their allies. Jombarg says, fuck it, I'm going to send my entire army after you guys. So now the army is attacking them in this pyramid city in the Queen's Plains. Back on Corum's world, the Mabden army is attacking his home place. And they also have a skyship. I forgot to mention, that's just a thing that they have. And the city itself is also a skyship. But I must have missed something. There's kind of like this whole thing where it has like an energy source, but they've lost it in their plane, so they can't use the city to fly anymore. But anyway, so the Queen's attacking that city. So there's kind of these two battles happening at the same time. And I do kind of like that. Corum warps back with his ship. I don't even know how. I think it's the Lord of Law helps him do it. But anyways, he can just open portals, I guess, when he feels like it. They go back to help support his plane there, while the Lord of Law, Arkin, can go and get this material that the other Mabden... Sorry, not even Mabden. I'm all over the fucking place. Corum actually meets a Vada, a living Vada that's left in the Queen's Plane. And this city is led by Vada, and I'm pretty sure most of the people there are Vada. I can't even fucking remember. It's not that important. They then have this like battle where Corum has to go and save his own plane while hoping that Arkin achieves his mission of getting the power source to get the skyship from the other plane to come there. And in probably the best scene of the book, Corum has to fight this other pawn of chaos who's this like legendary warrior, because the Mabden are dumb, right? They're just lower early human forms. They don't have like tactics or anything, but they're being led by an agent of chaos who's also kind of like an eternal champion but for chaos, according to the companion. So without him, like the Mabden army will be way easier to defeat. So Corum goes after him, and initially, and I'm so glad this is an example of the opposite, where it kind of inverts a trope, where Corum approaches him and says, you know, I want to 1v1 you, and I even forget what this dude's name is, but the Chaos guy is like, why would I do that? That's so stupid. I have a whole army here. Obviously, I'm not, going to play by the rules. And so he gets his army ready to just run up on Corum, and Corum goes, okay, I gave you the chance, and then summons the Chaos Horde, because that dragon creature had now killed all those Chaos warriors. So now he has those guys to summon. I didn't even put that together. When he did that, I was like, that was pretty fucking badass. And so there's chaos everywhere. It's really, this is another funny part where the Mabden don't even know who they're fighting anymore, because the creatures that they're fighting are really similar to like chaos creatures that they're fighting with at the same time. So it's just really confusing. Also, they can't die. So even though they have less numbers, they're just persistent. They give him enough time so Corum can, have his little 1v1 and win, obviously. And then, in the meantime, after Corum defeats that guy, now here comes the sky ship, the sky city from the other plane. Obviously, Arkin achieved his goal. That city now starts descending and can help them in air support against this massive Mabden army. And then here comes the Queen of Swords. She says, I don't care about the rules of the balance. I'm going to enter your plane. She literally does her best dude, where's my car impression, where she's just this massive lady with a huge sword. And she's leading her army. So now there's just this extremely massive battle happening. And here comes Lord of Law Arkin, also manifesting as a massive being. This is another thing I don't really understand. He's supposed to have very little power. But yet somehow he can do the same thing that Schomburg can do. But, I mean, I guess the way to make sense of it, because this is how the book ends anyway, he must have had more power now because the queen herself had less power coming into his plane. She knew the risks, and she did it anyway. And then Arkin, essentially, the cosmic balance itself is what defeats her. This huge, it says the cosmic balance appeared in the air. I'm assuming it's like a law scale, right? And the balance itself is what destroys her. And then after she's destroyed, it's just a wash, for Corum and the allies. It was it's weird. I thought the climax was lackluster and awesome at the same time. The idea of these two different battles happening that then converge on each other is really cool, and I like how that's executed. But the defeating of the Queen of Swords is just, it almost feels like it was even easier than the Knight of Swords, because at least Corum had to fight Ariok clean, one-on-one type thing. Even worse, he had other things coming after him. But with the Queen of Swords, it's she was just defeated by the balance itself because of her own greed to kill Corum. She took the risk of coming to the other planes. But it's man, if she knows about the balance, she should have known what was going to happen anyway. I don't know. It's, again, I'm overthinking. I'm thinking way too much about these stories. They're not supposed to be that deep. And I think that's my problem, is it's just my brain is not wired for these type of stories. And I do like the themes, and they do have really awesome moments. They just logistically irk me, I guess. But I still think it's good. I'm going to take a little break before I read King of Swords, just because, if anything, the one thing that really fucks me up about the Eternal Champion and Moorcock in general is I'm just really not a fan of his writing style. It's so pedestrian and overly flowery at the same time. It's not that interesting from a linguistic standpoint, But then when he decides to be flowery, it's about nothing. Like, it's not really about anything important. It'll be like a random conversation that, you know, one of the champions is having with his lover, and it's just like they're being overly like romantic for no reason, or like, I don't know, there's just a lot of little moments. But like, it sounds like I hate the book. I don't hate it. It's just I feel like the process of reading it is painful. But everything else is pretty cool. Whereas it's like I'd rather kind of just read something that, like, you know, clicks more linguistically, which is why now I'm reading Life, the Universe, and Everything, the third Hitchhiker's Guidebook. And I'm already like, it's such a nice refresher. It's so funny. It's so quick. But anyways, I'll get to that when I get to it. But for now, yeah, second Corum, it's passable. It's passably good, you know. Let's hope the third one knocks it out, because I do like where, again, the setup for the third one is already better. Because the book ends with Glandith, this little fucker, still alive, the original Mabden that maimed Corum. He watches the whole battle happen from like a side stage. Like, I guess he tries to like join the battle, but realizes it's a lost cause, and he sees them win, and it pisses him off, and he thinks in his head, you know, there's one person I can go to. So obviously he's going to go to try to find the King of Swords. How he's going to travel there, I don't fucking know. But we'll see. I already like that setup better. So, yeah. Until next time, take it easy.